Hi, I just wanted to make this video because I feel like there's a lot of people around my age, like in your early mid 30s or so, that we have mortgages now if we're lucky, but we don't, a lot of us just didn't learn all the specifics of how they worked. So I'm just going to talk about some things that I've learned, and I'm by no means an expert, but I do like play with our money a lot to make sure we'll be okay. So first of all, we had an FHA loan. So we did not have to put down, like the 20%. So if you don't put down 20%, I believe it's 20%. If you do not put that much down on it, then you have to also have mortgage insurance. Okay, so mortgage insurance is just like if you default, the mortgage company, like, it saves their butt, and it's an extra thing that you have to pay. So on ours, it's actually about $170 a month. So that adds up, because that is not going towards your principal or anything like that. That is just insurance that is to protect your mortgage people. So if you have the means to avoid that, like I wish we would have, but my husband didn't really get the whole thing right then, and now he regrets it. So I would do that. If you already have done it, you can get it off. Sometimes there's different ones. Ours is for the lifetime of the loan, which, a standard loan is 30 years. In some of them, it can drop off after 11 years, I believe. And then some of them, it can be once you've reached like the 20% that you would have put down as the original down payment, like once you've reached that. And it also changes because if the value of your house goes up, it's based on the value of your house, not what you originally bought it for. So that depends on there. And you can refinance for a conventional loan, but that's a whole different thing where you have to talk to people and just, figure out what's going to work for y'all. Also, when you're looking at things, try to remember that when it says like this is your estimated payment, that is your principal and your interest. It is not including the other things that would be escrow. So that is if you have that mortgage insurance, and then that is your hazard insurance, which is your homeowner's insurance if your house gets damaged, all that kind of stuff that they pay you. And so one is to pay your mortgage holder and the other is for you. So they're two different things. And then the other is property tax. So those will make a difference, and some of them actually adjust the property tax and the homeowner's insurance. Those parts will go up and down. So every year when it's refigured, your payment will be a little bit different. Ours started out, our P&I, which is our principal and interest, started out at about $1,529 and some change. Or that is what it is. It just started out. And so our original full payment was, I gotta look back on here. I believe it was $1,954. And then the following year, it went up to $1,984. And then thankfully this year, it dropped down to $1,931. So that will go up and down. Okay. Also, if you do not have a fixed interest rate, that will affect your principal and interest part. Will affect your interest part. So that's something to think about. But most people do have, when they get their regular loan, they have a fixed rate. So ours, we bought it when everything started going really high, and we had good credit. It wasn't excellent, but it was good. I believe we were both right about 730, give or take. And so we had 6.25. It does make a big difference on your stuff, because even just a couple points lower, it's a difference. And it was also right when the housing market like really started shooting up, or a few years after that. So it wasn't the ideal time, but also not the worst time. So, but what I wanted to talk about was doing principal reduction, even just a few dollars. So when you make your payment, we'll say you have right now, the $1,931, the payment you have to make. You cannot make any lower than that. You're going to get in trouble. You have to make that $1,931. But you can also, what we have tried to do, we have not done it the whole time, but we have tried to always kind of round it up to the next number and put that towards principal reduction. So that will go towards the end of the loan, and it just knocks down the principal. And it doesn't seem like a lot because, I mean, you know, when we had our 1984 and some change, it was like $15 a month to round it up to $2,000. So $15 a month going towards that. But you're doing that every single month. So it is making a difference, and it will save you how long you're paying it. And it will also save the amount of interest by a lot. Okay, I just wanted to talk about, so we've always tried to do that. We haven't done it the whole time, especially in the beginning, because I didn't even know it was a thing, which is why I wanted to make this video. You know, I might have just been ignorant, but we didn't learn about this. So, just with what we've done so far, we originally would have had to pay our house off. It was, on our 30 years, would have been February of 2053. And with just what we've done, like if we decided not to make any extra payments at all anymore ever again and just stick to what we had to pay, we would still be paying it off September of 2051. So that is 2 3/4 years. I'm sorry, 1. So, sorry, I messed myself up there. 1 3/4 years, so almost 2 years. And that again is if we do not pay any extra ever again, we've knocked that off. And I believe the savings on that, it was a good chunk of interest. It was a few $1,000s. But if we just continue at the rate we're paying right now, which is another like $68 a month, if we have it. We don't always have it, but if we do have it, we go ahead and put that on there. If we continued to do that every month throughout, we would be paying it off January of 2041. So that would be 4 years earlier. And we would end up saving $30,000 of interest. So it does pay off. It's a long, you know, way down the road. It's a long run. And the point is, though, if you have the ability to do it, just go ahead. It's worth doing. And I mean, even if you're not rounding up to the next 100, you know, you can round up to the next 10. So, you know, if, say instead of 1931, if we were like, we're going to pay 1940 and do an extra $8 or $9, you know, whatever a month, it would not make as big of a difference, but it would make a difference. And since I wanted to touch on this one too, it would make also a big difference on if you are wanting to refinance and get rid of the mortgage insurance, because it goes on what your house is worth now. And then also, I believe that's called LTV. I'm not for sure. Again, not a mortgage person. So it goes off like what you have left on principal and what your house is worth now. So if you're reducing that principal, you can get to that point faster. So your house value is already hopefully going to go up. Everybody wants their house value to go up. But so that's going up, and then you also are paying your principal down. You can get to the point of refinancing earlier and go ahead and get rid of that mortgage insurance and save yourself, in our case, $170. But then you have to run all kinds of other numbers and see if it's worth doing that and everything, and interest rates and all that up and down. But it really does make a sizable difference. And when I get back to work after my twins start school, I'm really hoping that we can start paying bigger chunks down, and I've ran every kind of number there is. And my end goal, I would like to have the house paid off 15 years earlier, just so we don't have to worry about it anymore and everything. It also, I know I talked about it lowering your interest, obviously, because you're knocking payments off the end. But it also, with the weird way mortgages are calculated and everything, okay, so every month when you make a payment, your P&I there, it starts off where your payment is mostly interest and a little bit of principal. Okay, I don't know if anybody's ever looked at their amortization sheet there. So that's how it works, because they're going to get their interest, like their money making thing, first, no matter what. That's their thing. Okay, so and then each month it kind of shifts a little bit, where like we'll say, okay, it says my next payment right now. My principal will be $191 and some change, and my interest would be $1,238 and some change. And then Next month, though, my principal will be $192 and some change, and my interest will be $12.36 and some change. So it's like it shifts about $1, like, or so, $1 or $2, where each payment $1 or $2 goes up towards the principal and down towards the interest. But when you start out, the vast majority of your payment is just to interest, and a little piece is to your principal. But whenever you do these extra payments, it shifts that faster. So even when you're doing a little bit, it just, each time it makes a bigger and bigger difference, and it just compounds on each other. So if you're not doing that and you have the ability to do it, I would really look into it. And, the important thing is don't put yourself into a bind doing it, because if you use up all your emergency money and then you have an issue next month and then you can't make the mortgage payment that you actually have to pay, then you got an issue there. So again, if you could do like even $5 makes a difference over time. Maybe not a huge one, but it is a difference. And I just wanted to touch on that. And I'm sure there's somebody going like, well, everybody knew that. Well, I didn't. So just wanted to share it. Bye.